For Nigeria to achieve truly credible and inclusive election, the legal framework must be both responsive and reflective of the country's diverse realities. Gaps in access to voter registration, poor infrastructure in rural areas, and weak civil education reportedly continue to disenfranchise many. At the same time, high cost of nomination forms and party structures often inhibit young people, women, and marginalized groups from contesting election. Strengthening electoral laws is no longer optional. It has become necessary for building a system where participation is not determined by privilege or geography. Other issues of concern include electoral dispute resolution, transparency in party processes, and the broader issue of political accountability. As calls for reform grow louder, the focus now shifts to the National Assembly and the kinds of legislative changes that can truly transform the system. As 2027 approaches, the question remains, will the necessary reforms come in time to make a real difference? I am Ezenwawagu. Welcome to Electoral Reform Half Hour on NTA News24 Abuja. This program is brought to you by the Peering Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa, PACA, with support from MacArthur Foundation. Dr. Joshua Audu Ghana is a member of the House of Representatives representing Lavun Mokwa Edati Federal Constituency of Niger State in the 10th National Assembly. He currently serves as the Deputy Chairman of the House Committee on Power, a member of the People's Democratic Party. Dr. Ghana is actively involved in legislative matters relating to energy, governance, food security, and public accountability, national development, and many more things that Dr. Ghana is involved in, which will unravel as our conversation continues. Welcome to the program, Dr. Ghana.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great seeing you, and thank you for the opportunity of having you come on our program.
Yes, thank you.
So what's it been like for you? I know you had a titanic battle, getting back to the National Assembly. You want to share a bit of what it's been like for you?
Yes, thank you very much. And I also want to use this opportunity to thank you for what you've been doing in your roles for development in Nigeria. We respect what you're doing, and we follow a lot of your work. Yes, I came in from the private sector to stand in elections, having had experience for over 20 years in the private sector, and suffered some of the gaps that we see in our laws. I took responsibility to say, okay, let some of us who have experienced these gaps and have suffered in the business community to get into the National Assembly and try our own contributions to national development in changing these laws with amendments in our legislative processes. And to God be the glory, I purchased my form in a party that I believe in, with the ideology that I trust can help Nigerians. And I stood party primaries and was selected and elected as a flag bearer and went to the general polls. The tribunal, given that I defeated the ruling party, the ruling party's candidate took me to the tribunal in Niger State and asked that we would go for a rerun. We contested that in the appeal court, and on the merits of what we submitted, they saw that I clearly won, and I was given my mandate back and I'm serving the National Assembly. So it has been a process. We have tested the system, we have seen the procedures, and we look forward to educating fellow Nigerians and encouraging them that let's stand on the right side of history to ensure that our laws can be implemented.
I followed that process, and huge congratulations. So you represent largely backwater constituency, because it's so I don't know if you observed voter registration processes,
yes,
access to polling units, and the bigger challenges of voter education. Yes. We're approaching 2027. Are there things you think, if you have the privilege of influencing your colleagues in the Electoral Matters Committee, what are the suggestions that you'll be offering to them to make access to polling units, voter registration, voter education much better than it is currently?
Okay. Yes, I know the INEC has their public education departments or unit that tries to engage in advocacy to help people understand what the laws provide for those that want to engage in electoral rounds. And we, for instance, now in Niger State, in November, we'll be going to the local government elections. And so it's another round for people now to get to study and understand the processes that come. But in my opinion, I believe I would like to say, if I can amend some of the laws for our National Orientation Agency to get back to what their primary role is, to educate and orientate our people in the nooks and crannies, because they are located in the 774 local governments in Nigeria. They have trained orientation officers. They can still engage, get more funding, even if it's from donor agencies, to really, in local languages that it was like they have been doing in the past, educate people what looks like fraud, what looks like a malpractice, what is right to be done in their local languages, and that should start early now. So between that INEC department that has to play that role, I would like the National Orientation Agency to do a lot of the training in our local
I see you have passion for public accountability, but yes, you see many people give National Orientation Agency these responsibilities, but the envelope, the fiscal envelope for doing this work in the National Assembly is paltry.
Yes.
Really not able to do this work in the way cholera, elections, everything is on national orientation. Yes. So are you going to be interested in looking at how we show up, support for such agencies in terms of budgeting and the rest of them?
Yes. Some of us even have issues with the envelope system of budgeting. And so, and I'm sure from our recent conclusions in the communique of the Public Accounts Conference that we just held, looking at the fiscal and our accountability side, some of the resolutions were that we must cater for a better budgeting system that meets the reality of today. Some people would have seen recently, there was a trending video, I think, on social media of a clerk that was complaining about a clerk of a committee. I think she's retired. I don't know if she's serving.
She said she's about to retire.
Okay. And she just wanted to say her opinion, being someone who had served there. Well, it's an eye-opener. I'm a first-timer, and I've taken notes from her comments to say, okay, let's ask the right questions. And if there are truth to what she's saying, let's amend and find a better budgeting system for it. Because I think we were, some of our amendments, which will go through this constitutional review amendment that the House of Reps is already going around the 6 geopolitical zones as we speak, that there should be a budget office, a National Assembly that looks at the line
through those line issues.
Those line issues that come from the executive.
I have issues with all that public hearing, because you are 360 and you have constituency offices.
Yes.
So if your constituency offices are active, you don't need to be doing public hearings.
Yeah, because when we go home and we have town meetings, I know the issues
your
that
constituency public hearing should take place, and then you draw out those issues.
Yeah.
But so many people are concerned, and I don't want to go back to that. So let's just say you are a young person, and a very, very active young person before you went into politics.
Yes.
I know about high nomination forms, party gatekeeping, and the rest of them. And you come from a very known political family, in quotes. What do you think? What kind of reforms would you support to level the playing field for aspirants in all of these levels?
Okay. The experience of those exorbitant forms for aspirants that want to engage in political circles has just been seen with the ruling party and the major opposition party in recent times. INEC, in its wisdom, had registered several other parties, and some, and most, is free for women, and then for youth also free. And so, but the competitiveness that some have seen in the two major parties that have held power to sort of like stem the amount of people that come into that stream is to put it at a price that, in their own thinking, responsible people who really know what they're doing and want to come with a purpose into office would not wishful thinkers. So they don't want the price for wishful
not pretenders.
Yes, wishful thinkers or pretenders, I like that word, to just come and buy forms and crowd our political process. So yes, I mean, some party executives will like it that they're generating income, but it's about getting to government to better lives of humanity.
Do you think you owe the party true allegiance if you paid that kind of humongous amount of money to get the ticket, and then the cost of running an election itself? When you eventually become, can the party really play its role in terms of asking you what to do and what not to do when you're in office?
Yes, they can. We have in our leadership those that liaise with the party. When we hold NEC meetings and other caucus meetings, we have our positions. We go to those meetings, make our positions. Whatever is resolved there, we carry those resolutions out. So the thing is about personal discipline to obey leadership
and party line
line and
okay, you went through dispute, you went through the tribunal. Yes, you saw all the challenges. If you are in a position to make any changes, what would that be to make election disputes more clearer in terms of the laws? Because you have gone through it, so you know where the shoe pinches. It's not a story for you. What will you want changed in the way we handled issues of election disputes?
Well, I think I don't want to go to some of the judgments that have said certain things should be handled within party dispute resolutions. I will encourage specialized courts for electoral processes. If we have specialized court systems where there are judges that are
trained,
yes, specialized in that area. It's just like saying medical science. There are special doctors for certain areas, and that's their core area. I think we've reached a stage as democracy is growing in Nigeria that we need specialized courts, so everyone knows the kind of CV or personality that is posted to that specialized court. And you know that once you present and the facts are laid before that person, the right decision will come out. We had a situation where they now say zoning. So if you are from the south, you go to Lagos. And so people had I don't have a house in Lagos. I have to stay
in a hotel.
The traffic situation, I have to get to the court on time. So sometimes you have to go and sleep a night before the court opens the next morning for a hotel around there. Before your lawyer comes from everywhere, then that means you might have to engage a lawyer in the Lagos community that really might not connect with the issues that happened
in Niger. Absolutely. So the big challenge will be to see how we make reforms that are not just legislative. Some of them are also administrative.
Yes.
The Electoral Offences Tribunal has been in the National Assembly for 17 years. It's not been passed. When we come back on break, we'll look at that. We'll go on short break now. Electoral Reform Half Hour continues shortly. Stay with us. Glad to have you back. We're still speaking with Dr. Joshua Audugana, member House of Representatives. I was talking about the fact that the Electoral Offences Bill has been in the National Assembly for close to 17 years. And in every legislative, period, it's never passed. Now, there are also the electoral reform issues are on the front burner. Yes. Are there roadblocks that you think makes passing some of these laws, especially the fact that there are very important things that needs to come? The reserved bill for women that is stopping the conversation and the rest of them. I know you go on break sometime in September.
Yeah, no, it's about the same time with the judiciary, so August.
Oh, so you go on break. Yes. When you come back, you go back on Christmas break. Do you think you will have enough time to pass these bills?
Okay. Yes, we have enough time because we have legislative days in every year. And so when you come into any new year, we mark out the legislative days from the public holidays, and so we know the amount of time that we have. Since there's already a draft bill that has been there, what were the issues that stopped it initially that we can look at and come to some amendment and lobby our colleagues to say, these issues, we must better these issues, even if it will affect us for the next generation that's coming, because it's not about us, it's about the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So my own take will be, the laws are sufficient. It's the persons. Institutions are there. It's the people in the institutions that are key to ensuring that this thing, if you stand for what the law has provided and you do your job properly to the end, I think we will be getting better results. And so maybe in the past assemblies, there were issues that party leadership felt will affect their rulership and everything, but whatever happened has happened. There are people that were even movements. The last two presidents of the APC were people that we call movements. Yeah. Buhari had a movement. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has a movement. So with all managing everything that was there, we are still seeing them winning elections and taking over in government. So we need to look at that. I will encourage those committees to look at it, and we can present it. I will strongly support it, because it's not about me, it's about Nigeria.
Yeah, I know you are very progressive in thinking and somewhat quietly radical in the way you come about these issues. So will you really access the current commitment of this 10th Assembly in passing these electoral bills? What's your assessment from the feelers that you get? Can you assess their commitment? How committed are they to ensuring that this these reforms run through in terms of the bills that are on right now?
Yes. I will say I'm confident because many of us just came in for our first term. A larger number of us are first-timers, and many of us have suffered setbacks before we got elected. And we don't want to face what we suffered before coming in. So I see within that lobby of the majority of us that have just come into the National Assembly, we can talk to the leadership, talk to the committee to ensure that these issues, like we say in lawmaking, a bad law is better than no law at all. All right. So when there's no law, it's lawless. Yes. Put in the bad law and let's start saying, this thing didn't work for us, and we start amending,
getting it right.
All right, and it will only get better. So I believe, and I'm sure you know, I'm one of those on the special seats for women's bill with our deputy speaker. I'm one of the sponsors of that bill. And so these are things I believe in. That you were born by a woman, you love your wife, you have daughters you are raising, and all these people help your life when you are being nurtured to grow up. And you don't want to bring them into the room of the conversation as parliamentarians. And then they say, okay, the party systems are not helping women to come out. And we say, okay, we have looked at the climes in different parliaments, and we have seen they have reservation of special seats for women. So we say, and Nigeria has been ranking very low in women participation. And so that's why in this constitutional amendment we're moving very firmly for that bill. And if the electoral laws are corrected, it will help more healthy participation from our women folk to join in, and the conversations I can promise you will get better.
I'm gladdened that you are a co-sponsor of that particular reserve seat bill. But are there other bills that you are involved in? Are there other motions, bills, or advocacy efforts that you are involved in, in the National Assembly currently?
Yes.
That can enhance electoral credibility or inclusion?
Yes. Well, I've because of my party's philosophy, we're social democrats in the People Democratic Party. That's the ideology and the mantra of the People's Democratic Party. And our belief is people matter more than things. If I'm to achieve these goals, having believed in these ideals, then most of those from the economic standpoint, electoral standpoint, we're looking at a holistic map where Nigerians will feel we are better for it today in our processes. We can commend that now we're seeing what has happened on the fiscal side in the tax reforms that will kick in from January, where clearly if your salary is not to a certain scale, you're not meant to pay personal income tax. This will show up and free up money for people that are below a certain cadre, for them to have more savings, more earnings to do. So I've supported, I've led the debates on even the amendment for the fiscal, forgive me, it's just escaping my mind. But I have a retinue of them, which I can always share with you, that I am supporting.
But I know this is away from food security, those your passions.
Yes.
What are the game-changing stuff that's going on around there in just 3 minutes?
Yes.
Away from the electoral reform thing.
Okay, we just finished the summit now.
Of Nigerians.
Yes, we just finished the summit yesterday on food security, and it's chaired by the Vice President of the Federal Republic, but in the House of Reps, it's chaired by Honorable Chike Okafo, and we saw that most of the discussions was around security of our people going to the farms. If it's technology, it's there. If it's training, it's there. The two key things is access to land, and you are sure you'll come back alive, number one. Number two is to the best practices to deploy to our lands, and then three, access to financing in a way that we can easily bring our products and export our products, and that so we have sustainable systems for our food security in Nigeria.
So as we round up, if we were to pass just one game-changing electoral reform before 2027, what should it be, and your final thoughts in just 1 minute?
Well, immediately at every polling unit, after results are declared, let it be uploaded and publicly announced.
No, but that's going on already. What's the problem is collation.
Yes, so
it's electronic collation is the challenge. Upload is already on.
Yes, upload has been done. So,
Yes.
yeah, buttressing what I was trying to get to, that becomes the standard. We must allow technology to account for it, and we can easily audit our
political
reports.
parties should also have their own collation centers.
Yes. We should
this is where we draw the curtain on this episode of the Electoral Reform Hour Half Hour, and we wish to specially thank you, Dr. Joshua Audi-Ghana, for your time and contributions on this program. It's a great pleasure for me having you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Electoral Reform Half Hour is brought to you by Peering Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa, PACA, with sponsorship from MacArthur Foundation. We're live every Saturday from 8:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. with a repeat broadcast every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. on same station. Thank you for joining us.